Hello everyone, it's Heather and I am filming this video from our balcony stateroom, room 10682 on deck 10 of the Harmony of the Seas. And today is a sea day, tomorrow is a sea day, and tomorrow is our last full day of the cruise. And I'm running out of space on my camera, and also there's not a lot to really film on a sea day. We're kind of just relaxing and wandering around and looking for activities to go to and things like that. Some things are hit or miss. Like we were going to go to Star Wars trivia right now, but it was completely full. There was no place for us to sit down. So we decided to skip that and come back to the stateroom and film this video. So just know that sea days are kind of whatever you make of them. You can relax, you can take a nap, you can just sleep and eat. You can do lots of active activities up on the top deck. You can go to different activities in the inside spaces of the ship. You can walk around on deck 5. You can sit on your balcony and stare at the ocean. Whatever you want to do, you know, read your book. There's lots of different options for how you can spend your sea day. I personally really like sea days and really enjoy them, but I know some people don't. But I don't know, leave it in the comments below how you feel about sea days on a cruise. But this is going to be the last video we make from this trip, and I just want to talk about this particular cruise and this particular ship, or maybe more generally the Oasis class of ships. This is our first experience going on an Oasis class ship. This is the biggest ship, obviously, any of us have ever been on, because there's nothing bigger than the Oasis class on Royal Caribbean. One thing that Megan said earlier in the cruise is that she's really glad I let her choose this cruise for her birthday cruise, because she's glad she gave Royal Caribbean another chance. She didn't really enjoy our cruise on Mariner of the Seas very much, and she said that she's glad that she gave it another chance and tried a different class of ship, because she's having a lot more fun and enjoying this cruise than she did the one on Mariner of the Seas, where she was kind of bored, honestly. Okay, so there's two things I want to do in this video, and I'm going to interview the kids too. So we're going to talk about our favorites and our things we were pleasantly surprised at, and our least favorites or things we were a little disappointed about. And I'm going to talk about two aspects of that. One is going to be venues on the ship, and the other one is going to be activities on the ship. So first, I'm going to talk about my favorite venues and my least favorite venues. The venues that I enjoyed most on Harmony of the Seas, I really like the main dining rooms. So, and there's 3 of them on top of each other. I mean, it's all one room really, but Deck 3 is American Icon Grill. Deck 4, where we are, is the Grand Dining Room. And Deck 5 is Silk. That's what they're called. They have a little bit different decor, but the food is all the same for the main dining room meals. But I really like the main dining room. Another venue that I really like is I like the Central Park area. I really think it's neat how there's live plants in there, and you're kind of walking through these little meandering, wandering pathways through the park like you're in a real park. I think that's really neat. Another venue that I really enjoyed is I actually really like watching movies in the Aqua Theater. Now, it could be better because the screens are off to the side, so you're always a little bit angled when you're watching them, but it is very pleasant sitting there in the Aqua Theater at the back of the ship at night, especially once it's darker and cooler, and watching movies on the big screen. I really like being able to watch movies on the big screen, and a lot of ships don't have that. So I really enjoy that they have some, not first run films, but some pretty recent movie releases that they've been showing on this cruise that we've been able to go to. So far we've seen No Time to Die, the latest James Bond movie, and we watched Clifford the Big Red Dog, which we hadn't seen before. And we're planning to go see Encanto tomorrow, because we did not get to see Encanto in the movie theater back home. Something with the virus. I can't remember what the deal was. We only got to watch it on Disney Plus on streaming, and Ben and I really want to see it on the big screen. So I really enjoyed that. I also really like the schooner bar on this ship, because I like the ships and the theming and stuff, but almost every time we're in there, it's very, very crowded because we're usually in there for trivia. Another area of the ship that I really, really like is I like the walking running track, which is kind of also a promenade deck. It's on Deck 5, and it's where the lifeboats are. But you do, as you go around there, get some really nice views of the ocean, and you're closer to the ocean than you are like in our Deck 10 balcony stateroom. And it's nice to go for those, I mean, you can walk miles around that track. There's also some periodic little seating areas, which I think I've shown you in an earlier video. and there's some seats at the stern of the ship where you can sit and watch the wake at the back of the ship. So that's an area that I really like of the ship too. Okay, some areas of the ship that I haven't really liked as much. The buffet, Windjammer. We were talking about this. None of us are real big fans of the Windjammer buffet for a couple of reasons. One, it's always kind of hot in there. There's a lot of sun coming in the windows and the air conditioning just can't seem to keep up. It's also very, very busy and very, very crowded basically all the time. The only time it wasn't like that was when I went in there one night at about 8:30, about a half an hour before it closed. A lot of the crew were actually coming in to eat, and there were very few passengers in there, and it was much quieter, mellower vibe. I don't know if maybe it's more like that at dinner time just in general, but for the most part, when you're there at breakfast and lunch, it's very crowded and very busy with people. Another reason we don't really like it is we don't really like the food in there. We kind of wonder, I don't know if anybody knows this, we suspect that a lot of the food that's in the Windjammer buffet is leftovers. Like leftover food from dinner the night before. We're not positive about that, and it's not all the food, but a lot of it seems like it just doesn't taste as fresh or as quality as the stuff we're getting in the main dining room. So that's another reason we don't really like that. Another venue that I did not care for at all and spent as little time in as possible is the solarium. The solarium, and I'm disappointed about this because of its location. I would love to have a nice, cool, air-conditioned place at the front of the ship at the bow to look out the front of the ship, like the views from the bridge. And there's no venue. On the Voyager class ships, you could go out on the helipad, and there were benches out there and stuff, and that was really great. There's no place on this ship that I know of that I've found where you can look out the front of the ship that isn't really, really hot. There's those couple of little places at the front of the ship on the slur. Maybe we should try to go out there today, because we haven't been out there when the ship is moving. We've only been out there when the ship is docked, so we might want to try that. But to go, you have to go through the solarium, and the solarium is just terrible hot in there. And I just definitely would not enjoy being in there at all because of how hot it is. It is nice and quiet and peaceful and more adult and relaxing and stuff, but I don't like being hot like that, so that's not an area of the ship that I enjoy. Okay, now let's talk about activities. One activity that I really enjoy on the ship is I really like trivia, and I really like any kind of games, any kind of like game activities where you get to play along and it's interactive and the passengers get to play. I've really enjoyed those. I really enjoy, like I mentioned already, walking around deck 5 and just taking a stroll and looking out over the ocean views. And I really like meals in the main dining room. That's another activity that I really enjoy. Two areas that I've been disappointed by, one I talked about in a previous video, was I really was kind of disappointed with the water opportunities to get wet and like get in the pool and go down the slides and stuff. And I talked about that more at length in a previous video. Just for me, that wasn't really enjoyable. Another area that I've been a little bit disappointed by, on this ship at least, is the entertainment. And part of that is because we haven't been able to get into the shows that we wanted to see. We never got to see the Aqua Theater show. We are going to try to see 1887, the ice show, tonight. There is also another ice show called Ice-Skate, which we're not interested in. We couldn't get a reservation to 1887, and then the schedule got all messed up for that ice show. We think because one of the ice performers got injured or is sick. They took somebody off of the ship in an ambulance on St. Thomas, and then they made an announcement that night at dinner about, because of a medical issue, they had to rearrange the whole schedule of the shows. And so I'm hoping that maybe we might be able to get into the ice show tonight, because we really would like to see that, because that's supposed to be a really good show. But the only other show that we really went to was the main act in the theater last night was a comedy juggler. He had a lot of inappropriate, like sexual innuendo jokes that I didn't think were really appropriate for a family-friendly cruise line. A lot of kids in the audience. I mean, I'm sure a lot of it went over their heads, but I just didn't think it was necessary. And he had a lot of kind of dead time in his act. And a few of his juggling tricks were impressive, but overall, I've seen better. So, and that's it. That's like, other than movies, and we haven't really gone to any live music. I mean, there's live music all over the ship, but that's just not something that Ben or I are really interested in, and so that hasn't been a high priority for us. Okay, now I'm gonna go out and interview the kids. Now remember, Megan is 18, Ben is 14, and so you'll get an idea of what people their age think of these venues and these activities on Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas. All right, Megan, we're gonna start with venues. What were your favorite venues that you enjoyed or were pleasantly surprised by?
Okay, I'm just gonna say my favorites.
Okay.
Probably Dazzles. I really love the environment. I think it's very beautifully designed and decorated. And during the day when there's like hardly anyone in there, or we're the only ones, it's a really nice place to just sit and like be peaceful for a while. Secondly, I really like Central Park. I haven't had a chance to spend much time in there yet, actually, which sucks because it's like the second to last day of the cruise. But it's very, very pretty at night, especially. I'd like to go down there and just like sit for a while if I can. All real plants, and I really like that because it really does feel like you're in a park. Not necessarily a venue, but third location on the ship that I really like. I really do enjoy our balcony and also those little coves. Did you film those?
Yeah.
Okay.
The like
those hidden coves on deck
5.
5? Yeah, that around the Royal Promenade, where you can just sit in an enclosed space, but you still get the wind, and you can just like look out at the water, and like hardly anybody's ever there. It's a really nice place to sit. Least favorite, I really just don't like the boardwalk. Like, it's alright, but it's just a little too noisy for me. And then also, I'm really disappointed with the pool situation.
Yeah.
I really thought there were more pools, but there's only like the one. There are a bunch of hot tubs scattered about the ship, but I don't want to go in the hot tub in this weather.
Yeah.
It'd be really nice if we could just have like a nice open pool. And there is one, but it's always full. Even when everybody should be in the port, it's full. Since I'm not doing 3 least favorites, I want to add another favorite. Even though it's baking hot, I really liked the environment of the solarium. And if I were on the ship, maybe in cooler weather, I would like to spend time up there because it's really nice.
Okay. All right, Ben, what venues on the ship do you like the best?
Well, with Megan on the dislike, I didn't like the boardwalk. It was too much of a carnival, and boardwalks, you don't think of a carnival when you think of a boardwalk. And then also with the pools, there was not enough pool space and stuff, and too many hot tubs. It was a napkin.
Flying through the air?
What
oh
is
my
wrong with
gosh.
you?
Oh, at least it's paper.
Yeah. It just comes flying through the air.
I like the balconies a lot, and the little closed space, and I also on the running track, I really like the back, except for that one time when we came there and we became completely blind.
Yeah.
But I like seeing the big wave behind us, and it's really cool. And
You said the dining rooms?
oh yeah, and I love the dining rooms because they're really like cozy and elegant, and I don't know, it's nice vibes for eating fancily. I guess is fancily a word?
I don't know, it is now. Okay, Meg, what about activities?
I'm disappointed about,
I said entertainment.
yeah, I'm really disappointed about that. The shows are, especially because we booked late, the shows are very hard to get into, and there just aren't a lot of them. And when there are shows, they're like, at times we can't attend.
Oh, I should ask, we're going to Greece tomorrow.
We are going
Yeah.
to Greece tomorrow, and I'm excited about that. I really love Greece, and I hope that they do a good job of it. I saw pictures, and it looks good.
Yeah.
Like, we went to a comedy juggler yesterday, and it just wasn't really that entertaining.
Yeah.
And yeah, there just hasn't really been much else that we wanted to go to.
Or could get into.
Yeah. There were a couple, like, little game shows that had to do with music that I wanted to do, and again, we weren't able to, and that was due to scheduling conflicts again. Or the venue was just too full.
Yeah.
And I feel like there need to be more of those. I feel like they have too many activities, and not enough of like consistent activities so everybody can do the same things. I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but
Yeah, no, there's a problem with access.
yeah.
There's too many people and too few times to go to the things, and so not everybody can go to everything. There's also a scheduling problem in that too many activities you want to go to are at the same time.
Right.
So you have to like choose.
There's just a lot. There's just a lot going on all the time. I mean, they have back-to-back activities that only last like half an hour in a lot of the main venues, like the Schooner Bar or On Air. Those are very small venues and they can get pretty packed.
Yeah. What did you like?
I really like the trivias. I don't know, like they're not my favorite, but it's nice to just be able to like sit down and do some brain things.
Like, what do you like doing?
Doing.
Anything else? Just sitting?
Sitting here staring at the ocean. What have we done?
It's okay.
What have we done?
We've done a lot of sitting.
Yeah.
A lot of
I
walking.
can't think. What have we done? No, like seriously, what have we
I
done?
said walking around on deck 5.
Yeah, I
and-
like doing that.
Okay. What about you, Ed?
The Schooner Bar is way too small. On Mariner it was very large and like actually too big.
There was no Schooner
But
Bar.
here it
Yes,
is-
there was. There's a schooner bar on every Royal Caribbean
But
ship.
here it is way too small. For the biggest ship in the world, it is way too small. They could have put it somewhere else and just had a standard bar there. But they just didn't
I also think it's too long and skinny.
Yeah. You can't really see the
The person doing
Yeah.
the thing.
The
Yeah.
on air is maybe a little bit too small, but it's more planned out and like,
Yeah.
it's like focused like at the center.
Right.
And I know this has nothing to do with activities or anything, but it's really annoying how we leave port right when dinner is because I really
Yes.
Yeah, oh, I agree.
I
This-
really like seeing the leaving.
Right. We like to see us leave the port, but they keep leaving places right at dinner.
Like at 4:35.
Yeah.
The other night we left at like 7:30, so it was already, or was it?
It was dark,
It was dark, yeah.
and we were able to sit out here and watch it.
Yeah, but it was super dark and we couldn't really see anything,
Yeah.
and so it was kind of just sad.
Anything you particularly liked?
Uh,
What's your favorite things to do?
I liked Coco K.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Okay, so there you go. That's what the kids thought. All right, now I realize that this sounds a little bit negative and it might seem like we didn't really have a good time, but that's not true. We're having a very enjoyable time. We're really enjoying this vacation. We're really enjoying this cruise. We definitely like this ship. There is a lot to do, but big caveat, the bigger the ship, the more people are on it. And a lot of what we've talked about in this whole series of videos is how that can be a challenge. The more people there are, the more people that want to do all these things. And like we've talked about, a lot of the things to do and places to go just don't have the capacity to hold that many people at the same time. And part of this might be because of the pandemic. The crew has told us there's 2,500 crew basically on board right now and about 5,600 passengers, and that is not full capacity. There can be, I think they said, up to 6,800 passengers if it's fully full. So I don't know if just not everything is completely back as it was and maybe they'd have things more frequently or what, but it's definitely something that can be a little bit challenging. You really have to be able to kind of plan, and there can be some disappointment if you get to something and it's already full and you don't get to go to it or you didn't get a reservation. So that's just one aspect that you want to be aware of on this cruise. And I guess all three of us were kind of disappointed with the top deck stuff. Megan tried the Ultimate Abyss and she didn't think it was worth the wait in line. She didn't think Ben would like it, so he didn't do it. I didn't even try it. The kids both thought that the zip line on the ship, which goes above the boardwalk, looked too scary. It's very fast. It's only like 5 seconds across, but you're way high above the boardwalk, and they didn't feel comfortable trying that. And neither of them ever got a chance to try the flow rider. When they were in their swimsuits and we were on the top deck yesterday, I think that was, the flow rider wasn't open. So there can be some scheduling and capacity challenges on a ship this size. So even though there's a lot of really cool activities, you aren't going to get to do them all. So just be prepared for that. You're not going to get to do everything. But overall, it's a very beautiful ship. It's very, very pretty. It's a very nice ship. And the service on board is absolutely phenomenal. And I want to talk about that really quick to close out the video here. The crew on any cruise ship, they work so hard. I don't know if you're aware of this. I like to make conversation and talk with the crew, and they do. They go out of their way to stop and talk to you too. The crew are on 8-month contracts, at least with Royal Caribbean. So they're 8 months on, and then I think they're like 2, 3, 4 months off before they will start another contract. Our head server at dinner I asked him how many contracts he's done, and he's done 15 contracts with Royal Caribbean. So, that's 13, 14 some years that he's worked on Royal Caribbean. They do not get a day off at all in that entire 8-month contract. They work every single day. They only get hours off. And we were talking about it this morning, and I honestly don't know if the hours off they get are anything more than them being able to sleep. Because you see them working all the time. Whether we're up early in the morning or we get to bed late at night and everything in between, our stateroom attendant is always like right outside or in one of the nearby rooms. Our servers are always working. The same dining room servers that you see working in the dining room at night, you're going to see up in the buffet at breakfast, or working in the dining room at breakfast or lunch or whatever. They work all day long, every day, the whole 8 months. It's got to be exhausting. I mean, 2 things amaze me about the cruise ship crew. One is that they maintain such a positive, cheerful, helpful, terrific attitude, and they're so kind and gracious and happy and willing to help you and make your vacation wonderful, even though they are working that much all the time with no breaks. And the second thing that amazes me is that they always look so good. They always look so put together, and they always look so spiffy and like they just took a shower, and they're always dressed so nice. And I understand that the ship laundry takes care of all your uniforms and everything like that. But I mean, it is really, really hot. And sometimes they have to get off the ship with us, to take photographs or do stuff in Coco Cay or whatever. And they still look very polished and very professional and very nicely dressed all the time. And I just think that's really impressive. So make sure that you are being kind and treating your ship crew well. We've been getting really exceptionally good service. And I think 3 things have helped with that. One is we are also wearing masks. They're all wearing masks right now, and I've noticed that they react to us very positively because we're wearing masks too, and I think they really appreciate that because they know that if they get sick, that's a really big deal for them, for their department that they're working in, for the ship, for the cruise line as a whole. It can really mess everything up if the crew gets sick. I mean, like, they told us that when we went to St. Thomas the other day, that was the first time that any of the crew got to get off the ship in 4 months because of the case numbers of COVID-19 among the crew. They can't afford to get sick. If they get sick, it messes up everything with how the ship runs, and it means the crew can't ever get off the ship. Can you imagine not getting off a cruise ship for 4 months? That's what they're dealing with. So, I feel like it's the least we can do. I mean, we want to protect ourselves too, but even though you don't have to wear your masks, can't you wear your masks? Especially if you're in close contact with crew members, help them out. They're doing it for you and for themselves. I mean, that's something I'm really disappointed in people that not more passengers are still wearing their masks, especially because cases are up again right now when I'm filming this video in June of 2022. Help them out. And then the second thing is that we're just really, really polite. We're very, very polite and very respectful. We don't make unreasonable demands. We don't, we're not rude to them. We're very, very polite. My kids are very polite and pleasant to the crew and everybody. And so they're going to be the same way back to us. And the third thing is I engage them in conversation. And I ask them about themselves. I want to know about them. I want to know what their experience is like working on the ship. Where are you from? What's that like? How do you like working for Royal Caribbean? Things like that. And, you know, they really do enjoy talking with the passengers and getting to know you. They always ask where we're from. Oh, what's it like there? You know, oh, what's winter like in Wisconsin? You know, things like that. I mean, they're always very curious about you. And so I think, you know, these are people too, and they're working hard, and being able to have conversations with the passengers can be a real highlight of their day, and, you know, getting them out of the mundane routine of having to do the same work over and over. So just keep your crew in mind when you take a cruise, because they're working very hard to make your experience as nice as possible. I hope that this video was helpful to you. I hope that this gives you some more information about what it's like to sail on one of these big Oasis class ships on Royal Caribbean and what we thought of it. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give me a thumbs up down below. And if you enjoy travel content like this, please be sure that you're subscribed to my channel. Have a great day, everyone, and safe travels!